rolling. Video rolling. Audio rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. The voice is back. This is so great. This is what our 4th season now, working with NBC's The Voice. This is season 20. We've met so many great artists over the years, worked with so many great coaches, and this season is hot. It's good, and just wanted to say how happy I am that The Voice is back. I know Dr. D watches it up there on the hill, and Kat in Austin, Texas. I know you and your kids watch The Voice.
We do, and yes, we do watch. And I remember your first your audition. I specifically,
my audition?
I was like, no, Rachel. I remember your.
I remember
your. Yes, yeah, I remember.
Well, let's yes. Then since you introduced her, let's introduce her properly. We've got Mac, Rachel Mac. She is on Team Nick, and she's on NBC's The Voice season 20. She's a singer-songwriter, a musician, 15 years old. What?
That's right.
Romeo, Michigan. That's her hometown. That's that where we find you today, Rachel Mack.
Yes, it is. I am a resident of Romeo, Michigan. Have been hopefully not for too long. I mean, pursuing them dreams, but yeah.
Where do you hope to be? Where do you hope to go with the dreams? Which city? You got a spot?
I want to go down to Nashville. I've always considered myself a songwriter first and foremost, and so I really want to pursue that and get education in songwriting, and yeah.
I want to read your bio a little bit here. I think this is great. So you grew up with a single dad. And by the way, this is one of the things I love about The Voice is that they also feature on the sidelines the parents and the friends and the family and the people that are cheering you on. Mm-hmm. And your dad's one of those inspirational guys without even saying a word on the sidelines that you just kind of fall in love with him. He's obvious that he's so supportive of you and loves you so much, right? And he's just
for sure
cheering you on every second of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. You've got 2 older sisters, and we're going to talk about, you've mentioned that they gave you confidence to start singing and performing in talent shows. So I want to hear about them and how they inspired you to do that and how they gave you that confidence. You use music as a way to express yourself, and you've been dreaming about being on The Voice since how long? How long have you been dreaming about getting to The Voice?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you when. I mean, has the show been on longer than I've been alive? I don't even know.
I think it has. I think it has.
So for so long, and it's just a dream come true.
We're also going to talk about you and Kat have something in common here. You met Blake Shelton, and you wrote a presentation in school that you talk about on the TV show. I love that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We might have to get a little deeper. And if you've got it around you anywhere there, we'd love for you to read it to us. I'm sure you're going to lose it very quickly. Kat had also met Blake, and she was in a commercial with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll talk about, we got lots to talk about this hour. You're a sophomore in high school. You're in theater, the marching band, and the choir, and you also lead worship at church. You just sound like a fantastic person. All of this at 15, and you're on season 20, NBC's The Voice. We are so happy to have you. Welcome officially. I wanted to call you out on something, though, before we get too far here. You proclaim on your Instagram page that you're America's #1 dork. And I've been holding that title for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm America's #1 dork. So tell me why this is true, right, Kat? She's known me 20 some years. Why should I relinquish my #1 dork title to you? Because I will, but you have to tell me why.
Not many people publicly fangirled over the voted world's sexiest man, Blake Shelton, on TV. Not many people do that. And that was an experience to watch and to relive. And after seeing that, I realized quite how dorky I am. And so I thought #1 seems fitting.
Being a dork's underrated. I think it's the thing to be, right? I mean,
for sure,
we're more fun.
Sure.
Okay, you can have the title. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
It's
Okay.
I'll give you
official.
number 2.
I got to pass the torch. I'll be number 2. Yeah, thank you. All right, so I want to go to your father. I want to talk about your father because I think it's so fascinating that he is your number one fan, I'm sure. Watching him from the sidelines, he's obviously supportive and has supported you to get to The Voice. I'm sure you've got a lot of talent, but it takes a team to really support you and back you and give you that confidence, such as your sisters, probably your church, acting in and singing in the musicals. All these people are your support team, but your father really felt so genuine and so emotional. Tell us about your dad and give him a little spotlight today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, my dad raised me as a single father. I mean, obviously, like I said, in my package, I do have a good connection with my mom, but my dad raised me and my 2 sisters. So we've always had an amazing connection over music as well. And so he's always known that I loved the show and that I wanted to audition. And it was funny because this year, when I found out they were holding virtual auditions, it was at like 11 at night and he was sleeping. And I went into his room and I woke him up and I was like, Dad, can you sign this for me? Can I audition? And he looked at me and he's like, Rachel, go back to bed.
It's 11.
and then the next morning and he's like, let's do this. And, he's supported me ever since. He's always supported me. And it's been super great to some people aren't as fortunate and some people have their parents view it as just like, oh, you want to be a starving artist, but my dad has always believed in me and just known that this is what I love. And I'm so grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. What is your father's name?
Scott. His name
Scott.
is Scott. Yes.
We're not going to give does he have a stage name?
Scott Mack.
Stage
Scott
dad
Mack.
name.
Yeah.
A stage dad name. I like that.
Dr. Scott.
Dr. Scott. Oh, Dr. D and him have something in common. I'm sure he's probably a real doctor though, and Dr. D is not. Okay. Aside from your incredible musical talents, you have made it to The Voice, which is not easy. I have friends, musician friends, that have gone through that audition process, and it's been very difficult. They've tried 2 or 3 times, and all the thousands of people. So congratulations on that. I just want to take a second and give you tip my imaginary hat to you that congratulations. It's really hard to do that. And you woke your dad up at 11 with the application, and here you are.
Yeah.
Talk to us, and we were so lucky to have you. I noticed though that there are on The Voice, it really seems that there are younger and younger artists every year. And I don't know if I just missed it before, but such as yourself, you're 15. Last season's winner was Carter Rubin, who we had on the show. Such a great guy at 15 as well, I believe. And in your experience with your friends, do you see kids getting into the not only music business, but music and being more musical these days in your social groups? Or is this a new Kat, do you remember this? Have there been young musicians always? And I just haven't paid attention.
I
that
feel
are so
old
good.
right now.
That are so talented, how do you get that? So the question, I guess, is, are your friends like you? Do you know a lot of?
She's a
You see,
unicorn. There's no one like her.
I don't know if it's just like a generation thing. Like if our generation is so bold or extroverted that we're like, what do we have to lose?
Yeah.
Or if it's
Good point.
Or I'm sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's okay. They're backup vocals.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's that or if it's just the industry is changing and there's just more talent. But I mean, I know personally a lot of my friends are really musically inclined, but that may just be because that's who I surround myself with. But I do know that there are so many amazing musicians, and maybe it's because social media, people are able to show themselves on that platform, and so it's easier to discover people. But yeah.
I wonder if there's a bit of desensitization with just being, because of technology and social media and TikTok. And I hate to say, but your generation, it makes me sound like I'm old. but your generation, I think, is growing up with, it's kind of an automatic and a given that you're gonna, not everybody, but generally speaking, that you're gonna put yourself out there. So perhaps, does that make it easier in the audition process? Did that make the blind audition easier in a way? Because you kind of have that already as part of the geography of just being 15?
And after that, after you answer that, is there more pressure because of that, that you are the generation that is expected to be on all the time?
Yeah, so it's honestly hard for me to answer that, because if I'm being completely honest, I got social media like less than a year ago and posted like maybe total of like 4 covers even before my audition. So it's kind of hard. I'm not really sure if that plays into it, but I will say that nerves were not died down at all. There was still plenty to go around and to share. But I think if anything, it might have made it worse, because you know that it's not just going to be the people watching, but it's also going to be the people following the voice, the people following you, the people following the people that followed the voice who reposted it. You know, so many more people are going to see it. And so maybe that's an added pressure, but it's not really anything to complain about. There's no such thing as bad publicity, I guess.
Yeah.
Why is music so important to you specifically? And why has it been so important to you in your life?
I mean, I'm 16 now, so I may be young, but I've definitely gone through more than most people have at my age, or maybe some people a lifetime. And so I think that I don't remember if I said this in an interview or to someone, but the best way I can put it is music never leaves. And if it does, you can create it. So it's always there. I mean, it's really comforting. I mean, everyone connects to music, whether it's they do it, they listen to it. It's just like it's not in this world, it's something out of this world. And so, yeah, it's always been there for me. And so I feel really grateful that I'm able to share that with other people.
For those who have not seen you on NBC's The Voice season 20, tell us about describe how you are as a musician, or what your sound is, what genre you're passionate about.
It's hard to put my genre into one word. I would kind of fall into like maybe like a folksy country singer-songwriter mixed with indie. It's very, I mean, I'm trying to think of an example, kind of like a Jewel-esque kind of sound, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's why I songwrite so much, is because it's hard to pick and choose songs that are already made that fit your genre, but it's much easier to write one that's your own genre.
I love that.
Kat, sound like you had a question.
I do have a question. This process so, I mean, I can just see you sitting in your room and writing, and like that whole side of you where it's just like, it's all about the music, it's all about the message and writing and the cathartic part of that. I really feel that coming from you. And there's also the show. And like, I know what it's like to be on those sets and be part of those shows. What is the conversation? Is there one conversation in particular that you find yourself having with yourself over and over as you kind of go through this process to stay who you are and to stay really grounded to kind of being Rachel?
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And I wish I could say, if I'm being completely transparent, I wish I could say that I was like just giving myself pep talks all the time. But if I'm being completely honest, it was a lot of reverse psychology. I had to go back and undo a lot of damage that I've already done with, I had to stop saying like, if I lose and if I don't get a chair turn, and start saying like, when I do, you know, I had to go back because I was, you know, kind of gypping myself. And so I had to go back and reverse a lot of that in a short amount of time, which was not really good, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So some deprogramming and then some reprogramming with some. Yeah.
I find it so fascinating that you have this insight. And we had a guest on a few weeks ago that was 17, and Anais Reno, she's a jazz musical artist. She said something similar to that, where she she had to go back and look at what the negative thoughts that come to everyone. All of us have them, doubting yourself, doubting your talents, or if you can make it, or if people will like you. I just find it so fascinating that you have that introspective now. I think I just started thinking about that last week. Trying to fix things about myself. But how do you do? I mean, how does that come to you, and how do you determine?
Well, I mean, with such a big experience, you have to have such a big perspective, and you have to kind of, just like you have to have a bigger perspective of it all. I mean, it's not my small world that I'm living in anymore. It's this huge thing, and so I have to kind of open my eyes and take deeper thinking, do journaling. Yeah.
Deep breaths.
You're more
lots of deep
grounded,
breaths.
more grounded, more present, better capable to go through the experience of Hollywood and the music business, which is very tough and probably very hard on anybody at any age. What was the last? We got to take a break here in 2 minutes, but what was Rachel, the last year like for you as an artist? And
the last, I'm sorry.
No, and sorry, and socially, just not. It's such a great time in your life to be around your friends. And what was it like as an artist? What was it like as a, as a teenager?
This year has honestly, I can't really complain. This year has been so amazing. I'm pretty introverted, and so having that time to myself has been really great. But then it wasn't too long to the point where it was getting to me mentally, because I was able to have this journey and meet so many amazing friends. And oh my gosh, my dog is so loud.
Should introduce them. I mean, they can join us if they like.
but yeah, I mean, it's been really good because I had that time to myself, but then time to be with the world, really.
Okay, with that, our guest today is so intelligent, but she's also incredibly talented. She is on NBC's The Voice. It is back. It's season 20. We all look forward to this every few months. We're so excited to have Rachel Mack. She is our special guest today. Check her out on Instagram at Rachel Mack, RACHELMAC. And soon, very, very soon on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else you can get her music. We'll be right back after the short break.
Thank you. Am I able to?
Your dogs
are fine.
Richard says he can't hear them.
Well, I can hear them,
awesome.
but they're not a distraction. So just go. It's
So
fine.
do you need to go? If you got to do anything,
open my door so they're not wondering.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
Like, where is she?
There you go. No, that's a good idea. I know my dog's that way too. When I'm in the studio and I have the door closed, sometimes they'll even try to push on.
Yeah, they're like, "Where's Dad? Where's Mom?
Where the heck are you people?"
So,
They
Kat, I'm
came
going to come
home.
back with just a couple questions, and then you can pick up from what I've got, or if you can do your own. How does that sound okay?
Sure.
May I ask what kind of dog you have?
I have a golden retriever here and a Newfoundland. So I have some big dogs.
Wow, you don't mess
Cool.
around.
No,
Cool. Hey, go big or go home, right?
that's right.
Or chase Richard away.
There you go.
Big dogs. All right. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, here we go.
In 3,
You
2,
ready, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show with Kat and Dr. D. We've got Rachel Mack. She is on season 20 of NBC's The Voice. She's on team Nick Jonas. We haven't had anybody from Nick Jonas's team yet, so I'm really happy to talk to you about this and find out what kind of a coach he is.
I gotta represent.
And okay, so I want to ask you, how does music make you feel? You, Rachel, how does it make you feel? What do you get from music?
Well, that is a very broad question.
We got time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Honestly, it's depending on my mood. Sometimes it makes me feel 10 times worse. Sometimes it makes me feel 10 times better. Sometimes, I want to write. Sometimes I'm like, get this notebook out of my sight. I'm going to rip it in half. It just depends on the mood. Sometimes it's really therapeutic. Sometimes it's damaging because it's such a powerful force. But if I had to give just a general answer, it's so therapeutic for me, for the most part. And, just being able to create it is something that not everyone has the ability to do. And so it's always been there for me. And so, yeah, it's good.
Are there, does songwriting come to you at any strange hour, or is it some sort of a routine? Do you have a routine where you sit down and you try to write? And what types of things inspire a song from you?
You know, it's always different. I know some people are like, oh, you have to have this divine inspiration. And sometimes something comes to me, but a lot of the times, you know, you have to, a lot of people talk about inspiration, but not a lot of people talk about perspiration when it comes to songwriting. And you do have to put in time and effort and pull out the rhyme book and everything, you know? So, I mean, yeah, I mean, sometimes it'll come to me at night. Sometimes I'll be in school and I'll have to pull out the notebook and my recorder. But I mean, for the most part, it is something that I really have to work at. It doesn't just pop out of thin air. It's
a craft.
Yeah.
Do you write lyrics first or music or both? What's your process?
I honestly, I feel like it's at the same time, you know, sometimes it's like, I'll just get like a little clip of a lyric that has a melody and then I'll build it upon there. So I'd say maybe melody first, because I don't think I can write a lyric, because it's really hard to have a lyric and then kind of fit it into a melody that you have to make. When you have a melody, you can kind of fit the lyrics in the rhythm. So it's a little difficult the other way around for me, but it comes to everyone different.
I do a lot of writing and lyrics come really easy to me. Like, I mean, but that melody piece, so hard. So you are so lucky to be able to have them kind of simultaneously, or at least if anything, the melody comes inches ahead, because it's hard when you have these great lyrics and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
They need something to attach to, you know?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Rachel, why did you choose Nick Jonas as your coach?
I chose Nick Jonas because he was the only choice. I'm kidding. I was the one.
I thought Blake did. Blake not turn around. I thought he did. I'm sorry. I thought there was. That's why I was like, why did you? I think just because he was talking, I thought he turned around, but I must have missed that. I apologize. But I'm like, why did you choose Nick over Blake? Like Blake's old news now.
No, but honestly,
makes sense. Okay.
It's kind of funny because I've had a lot of people ask me, like, if both of them were to turn, would it just like be 100% Blake? And I'm like, honestly, I was really considering Nick, like going into it, because we have so many similarities, like as people, but then at the same time, like musically, we kind of have that like opposites attract thing going on. Because
what are those similarities that you have that you share with Nick Jonas?
He started out very young, and you know, he's a wee little thing. And I'm a wee little thing just starting out. So I think he would have a lot of insight, not just musically, but just being a young person and how to handle the music industry, you know, different than maybe some of the other coaches might have. So just that in itself is really important. And you have to think about that.
What has he taught you so far that you'll take into your music career?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't speak too much on that because I have to wait to see what you have to wait to watch the show. But
we're gonna get in trouble with sorry, I didn't mean to ask. I didn't mean to pry.
No, you're fine. He's taught me so much. He's been he's such a good human, you know. It shocks you how down to earth these people are, because you just think of, oh, they're these high and mighty celebrities, but they're really so down to earth, and they really do care about their artists and they want them to succeed. So I've learned about a lot from him musically, and also a lot from him as a person, and just like what to aspire to be in the music industry. Hey, go lay down. Lay down.
You gotta tell us what the names of your dogs are now. They're guests on the show now. You gotta give them credit.
Nana Mac, Nana Banana. Yes.
Nana Banana.
That's so funny. That's what we call my mom. It's Nana Banana. So now I'm going to let her know that she's in good company with that name. Talk to me a little bit about your rate of growth and how that's okay. He just wants in on the interview too, or she.
She hears a strange voice in the room, and Who is that?
Someone say Nana.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I wanted to know about your rate of growth when you look at, I mean, I know you're 16 now, so relatively speaking, when you look at your life and your process, maybe even just take the process of writing a song, perhaps, to just kind of make it easier. Since being on the show, and I would think even just by osmosis of just being surrounded by the people that you're being surrounded by, and the words you're hearing, and just everything is kind of different than how it used to be pre-voice. Is that showing up in your abilities, just flat out ability to write a song? Like I mean, paint me a picture of the difference of 14-year-old Rachel versus now 16-year-old Rachel, and like what that process of writing a song, and is it quicker, or is it easier? Are you trusting yourself more? I want to know, like, you as a person, how is that changing you?
Well, I think first of all, just with age comes more knowledge, and so just even simple things like I learned more words in the dictionary, so I'm able to write a better song. But then also the experiences that I have gone through, or the people that I've met who've had experiences, it just bleeds into my life, and it just gives me a bigger perspective of the world. And so as time goes on and I experience these huge things, I think I look back at some songs that I wrote a few months ago and I'm like, what was that? That I thought was the bomb diggity back then, but now I'm like, oh, we're not releasing that one. That's not it, Rachel. But maybe I'll look back at my songs later on that I'm writing now and be like, oh my. But I think it's just, it's all a growth arc. And oh yeah, he agrees.
He agrees. That's wonderful. Yeah. Let's talk about the fashion, because I always notice, I mean, I don't know where we're at on the show, but
we're going to take a quick break, but you set up your question and then we'll come back. Well,
because I want to talk fashion. I want to talk about how fun that is. And like, are we at the place where that's starting to change in the show? Because there's usually a place where that changes.
All right. Hold that answer. We're talking to Rachel Mack. She's on NBC's The Voice season 20. I keep saying it, but it's back and we love it. And you can check her out at Rachel Mack. It's RACHELMAC. Rachel Mack on Instagram.
Okay.
All right. So the black one, the Newfoundland is Nana. Is that Nana?
Yes. And then the good one, as of right now, is Cooper. Lay down. Okay.
Nana.
Let me see if I can pet her with my feet. There we go. Is it better?
Fashion. We're going to talk fashion. I love it.
Talking fashion.
Dr. D, do we have to just kind of listen from the side, or can we join in?
Yeah.
Boys can talk fashion too. This is an inclusive environment.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You think? Okay. All right.
I mean, you might need an extra conversation after.
You need a little coaching from Kat or Rachel.
Let me just tell you, my wife dresses me, okay? I don't mess around with that. My wife does that. That's why I wear clown suits.
I'm gonna talk to your wife.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
All right, we're coming back.
3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Rachel Mack is our special guest on the show today with Hannah Banana. I forget. I've already forgot that. Nana Banana. How can I forget that? That was my Nana. I remember. Okay, I never called her Banana though. Rachel Mack at Rachel Mack on Instagram. Check her out on The Voice. It's NBC's 20th season of The Voice, and it's getting good. We've got Rachel Mack this whole hour. Rachel, you and Kat, we're going to talk fashion. And she set you up on a question there. Do you remember the question? It was so long ago. We took a long break.
Yeah, where are we at on the show? Where like, for folks that are tuning in because they're listening to this interview, where are we at? And are we at the place where the looks start to really come together? I mean, you look amazing right now. I know people listening on the radio and the podcast cannot see her, but she's gorgeous, and she looks which looks really, really good. So are you guys having fun
Cat's
yet with
ripping
the
off your
fashion?
outfit.
Yeah, I'm wearing leopard, which, that's kind of cute, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I know the show tries to create a growth fashion wise too, because they want to make it seem like you're growing as an artist. It makes sense. You don't want to go out in a Met Gala ball gown for the blind auditions.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited because I think I have kind of a funky fashion, and it's so cool to just kind of be different. I want to be different on this show. And so yeah, I'm really excited. Outfit choices are gonna be super cool. We at least have the battles outfits and the battle, like when we're with the coach, that outfit. So we get to see a couple more from me, hopefully more. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully lots more. And I'm excited. I think it's worth talking about because I think some people just look at fashion like it's not really an important thing, but personally, I think it is really important. It's just yet another way to express yourself. And I also think that and I hate to keep harping on the fact that you're young, but you are young, and that's a really beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful component to the show. And it's also such another, outlet for you to express yourself, and for girls, young girls especially, that are looking up to you. I'm sure the way that you looked up to girls that came before you on the show, and to be inspired. And so I think it's a really, really important part of it, and it's probably just mad fun.
Oh yeah. I mean,
so do you get to be super involved in what you're wearing, and like head to toe, or are you told, okay, these are like your 4 choices, or do you get to just go in there and be like, this is who I am?
It's a mix of both. I mean, they have to have like approval.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a TV show, so you can't go on wearing nothing or close to nothing. So you have to. Not that I would do that, but.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's a mix of
Not
both.
the Grammys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, hide your eyes for the Grammys. Yes.
It's very inclusive. The show does a great job including their artists and making them feel like they're a part of all their decisions. I've never felt otherwise. And so, yeah, I mean, what I'm wearing is what I'd want to be wearing.
That's awesome. That makes me happy.
We got to take our very, very last break, and then there are no more breaks. We could just talk here a little bit more with Rachel Mack. I want to tell you a little bit about NBC's The Voice. If you have been under a rock and you haven't heard of it so far, they're celebrating. It's a 4-time Emmy award-winning musical competition. It celebrates this year its 10th anniversary with the strongest vocalists, including our very special guest today, Rachel Mack. She is in that group they talk about. From across the country, these vocalists come, and they're invited to compete in the show's newest season, season 20. It premiered March 1st, and it also airs on Mondays and Tuesdays. So what is coming up? Just tease us to the break here. What's next for the show? Can you tell us that much? What's coming up next? Battles, correct?
Yeah, next up is battle rounds. The battles have begun. And so I haven't aired yet, but you'll see. You'll see me soon enough.
Rachel Mack, she's ready for the battleground, battle rounds on the battleground. We'll be right back. The Jeremiah Show.
Very
Cool. All right, so we have about
great
10 minutes or so, Kat.
Mhm.
Is that okay with you?
With me?
Yeah, Rachel, I know that you
Yeah.
you're staying here longer than probably you planned. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes. Do you mind if were you finished with the fashion, Kat? Can I bring us back here with the question?
I'm finished with the fashion.
Kat wants to know where you got the hat, where you got that shirt, what kind of boots you're wearing.
What store did you go to? Was it Kmart or Macy's or
Oh,
or
no,
Nordstrom?
Richard needs a coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
By the way, that bell I was hearing, it was sounding like orders up. I don't know what that,
Bell.
I heard. I
What
was
bell
hearing
are
a
you
bell.
hearing? A bell, really?
Yeah, I heard a bell notification. Speaking of notifications, I'm now notifying you I'm ready to go.
Okay. Notified
Okay.
and accepted.
In 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Welcome back to the Voice season 20, NBC's The Voice, Rachel Mack. It's the Rachel Mack show with Kat and Jeremiah and Dr. D. We're getting to know Rachel Mack, the musician, singer, songwriter, just a great, talented musician. We can't wait to hear more from you. Do you have an album put together, Rachel? Do you have those 10? I know you're looking through your songs. You're getting rid of some stuff from a couple months ago that you don't like as much anymore. But do you have in mind an album after this is all over, after you take and win The Voice?
It's funny you say that, because I was actually just putting together kind of like a final list of my catalog and like what sounds good and like what would fit well on an album, and I have so much, so it's almost just a matter of narrowing it down.
We can't wait. Can't wait. So that's probably 2022, I'd imagine. So can you take me, I know we can't get too descriptive about the behind the scenes in The Voice, but I know there's so many people out there that are listening that are auditioning or maybe thinking about auditioning. Tell us about the experience from taking the application into your father and waking him up at 11 o'clock at night and getting that filled out and turned in, and then you go actually audition. What's that like when you look at that sea of people waiting to audition?
What even would that? What'd you say?
Describe the scene if you would.
Oh yeah, I can't even give you like I don't know the percentage or the fraction of people that even get a chance to have a blind audition. I know it's a very small fraction, so I feel very honored. But even just in the beginning, getting that initial callback from that first virtual audition that I did, that was just I was so grateful for that in itself. I must have cried so much. And then when I heard that I got that blind audition, it was really crazy. I know when I first got that callback, I was like imagining myself on the stage, and I was like, Rachel, you need to stop. Like, whoa, you're way ahead of yourself. You need to stop. And so
I love your dog in the background. He's like
Perfect.
He's underwriting
so
when you're excited.
sorry.
He's excited. He's like, yes, she made it. So did you?
Need me.
But what are you visualizing? I know a lot of people visualize what they want and see in life, and then it does happen. I've done it. I think you visualizing where you want to go has power. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I always say if you can conceive it, you can. If you can conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. I think there's so much truth to that, but you also have to be careful that you don't like get your hopes up too high. So that's what I was trying to balance, and make sure that I had realistic expectations, but also belief in myself that I could do it. And so when I did do it, I was like, yeah, exactly that.
So now you've made. Tell us where you're at in the journey now towards The Voice. You're getting closer and closer.
So it's been really crazy. I did the blind auditions. I turned Nick's chair, so I'm on Team Nick. And right now we're ready for the battle rounds. The battles have begun airing, and so it's just a matter of waiting and seeing if I move on to the next round, which is the knockout round. And I've just been so grateful to have this experience, and it's, I think, the most crazy to not just be doing it, but to watch it back and be able to see it play out on television.
So the song that you sang, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I sang "Let Him Fly" by Patty Griffin, and that's super cool for me, because the first time I heard that song was Allison Porter when she sang it on The Voice. I think season 10 it was. And I was definitely a lot younger. I was really young. And I remember hearing that song, like she inspired me so much. So I feel like really honored that maybe another little girl could hear me singing it and be inspired. And
if you're just tuning in, the growling is not me agreeing, or that is not me. It's not Jeremiah. It is not Rachel. We'll let you guess who that might be. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to.
It's a bonus, Jonas.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you have a question? Sorry, Richard. I thought
Just
you were
a quick
giving me 5
question.
minutes.
What? No. I'm curious as to the reaction of your dogs when you sing. Do they sing along with you? Do they sit and listen because they're just in awe of the beauty coming from your mouth? I'm very curious.
I don't think Nana cares. Cooper walks out of the room. He doesn't like it.
He's like
He will
most
walk out of the
kids.
room.
He's like, quit singing, Mom. You're embarrassing me.
It's probably, I mean, I can't imagine how loud it is for him with their ears. So he don't like it. I don't think Nana cares. Maybe she doesn't care.
He loves it. She loves it.
So sorry.
And then there's the cat
COVID.
sticker. What's something, tell me though, like the blind auditions, it's dark. What's it like? It's dark. All of a sudden the lights go up. You've got you're staring at the back of the chairs. What's that like in your body, your physical? Are you
That had
going
to be one of the most, one of the most nerve-wracking things, honestly. It's, you have so much time and effort that goes into this one moment.
Mhm.
And so, it's kind of just like all on the line. 90 seconds. You've been preparing for how long? For just 90 seconds, and then it's over with, and you don't know if it's going to continue going. So, lay down.
Do you remember the moment, or does it just go like you're white, you're blank, you forget who you are, but you're singing?
I remember Nick turning his chair, and I remember giving the presentation and some of the things they said. That's pretty much it.
What's that feel like when that chair turns? What is that? Is that like?
It was so soothing. It was really, I mean, I know some people are like, oh, I'm so scared to like, what if I like lose my cool, and what if I like can't continue? But it was really, really calming. And I think everyone had that same experience. I think it was super calming.
Here's my last question for you. Then Kat can ask all hers, whatever she's got there. What is the one thing that your fans don't know about you yet, but you'd like them to know?
That's a hard one. I think I have definitely been super transparent on TV, almost to a fault, some could say. Definitely very quirky, but I think I want just my fans to know that like I think I'm super down to earth. I think I'm just a normal person, and I'm really goofy. I have a sense of humor, so I hope people get that from me, and that I hope I don't seem too high and mighty for some people. I'm just a normal teenage gal.
With great pipes, great talent.
You.
Yeah. As we head into from the battles to the knockouts, to help us understand the difference between those two rounds? How do the battle rounds and the knockouts differ?
The battle rounds and the knockouts, or the battle rounds and the battle rounds, you sing a duet with someone on your team, and then if you move on to the knockout rounds, you are paired with someone again, but you each sing a solo, and once again the coach chooses who moves on from there. So it's a duet versus a solo, but each one of those you're paired against someone, and then if you move on to the next round, that would be the live shows.
Okay, so after knockouts is live.
Yes.
All right, and then do the coaches get saves in the knockouts?
Yes. So in the battle rounds, they have each coach has one save and one steal, and then in the knockout round, there are no saves, and each coach has one steal.
Oh, it's always exciting when they do that, and I love it when they wait till the last second. My kids are always they're like walk out of the room because they think it's over, and then they hear it, and then they get so excited, and
fun for the watchers. I can't imagine it'd be fun
like,
for them.
You're like,
so fun for you.
We're sweating.
Or when they turn at the last second, the poor contestants are like, oh dang it.
Those are the worst.
Brutal.
Well, Rachel, it's so great to have you on, and we're going to be cheering for you and watching you, and on NBC's The Voice season 20.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and
of course
getting to know you a little bit better. And we hope you come back, especially when you drop a new album. Okay. Well, any final words for your fans or your family? Anybody you want to thank?
I will just thank you for having me, and thank you for all of the support, everyone listening. I really appreciate it.
I love your
so much for
co-host. I love your
coming.
co-host there in your room.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel Mack, The Voice. Check it out. NBC season 20. It's on Mondays and Tuesdays. Check your listings and times. And we'll talk to you again, Rachel. Have a
Yeah.
good luck next week.
Thank you.
Break a leg.
Communicate, listen
Bye.
more, and evolve. Have a great week, everybody. Watch The
Thank you.
Voice.
Yeah.
You're clear.